You can probably tell I wanted to touch on our September Craft Box. This is an amazing box filled with tons of goodies. The value is amazing, and this one is labelled our Christmas Snow Dome box. So if you're done with summer, we're moving into autumn or fall, and Christmas is going to be here before you know it, because this year is just flying by. So if you're ready to start crafting for Christmas, then you're definitely going to want to check out this month's box. Okay, as per usual, I'm going to give a quick rundown of everything that you get in the box, and then I'm going to show you guys how to make a fun Christmas card using the domes that you actually get, hence the name Christmas Snow Dome box. Okay, so I'm going to touch on the dies first, as I usually do. Now there's 2 dies and there is 1 embossing folder. So the first one we have here is the Snow Dome. So as the name suggests of the box, we've got our Snow Dome die. So this is one of our Chapter 3 dies for 2021, and it's a gorgeous Snow Dome die. It works perfectly with the 3.5-inch shaker domes, which are also come in the box. So just while I'm here, you get 4 of these domes, so you've got more than enough to make a few cards, and this works perfectly alongside. So if I just turn this around quickly, you can see that circle there is the perfect size circle to go with that dome, and I'm actually going to show you how to use those together in my make later on in this video. But it's just a really cute die. You get loads of different elements, like you can make up the little Santa and the penguin and everything. And actually in the die set, they're actually on like kind of big pieces of metal, so everything you need to make the Santa is on this piece, everything you need to make the little penguin or the snowman is on this piece. So it just makes it 100 times easier, and you're not fiddling around with those tiny little pieces. And I really like this one. It's really cute. And then you also get the Festive Elements die. So again, part of our Chapter 3 2021. This one is really nice, really versatile die. You're going to be using this one every single year. It's not kind of going to go out of style or anything like that. You've got your generic sentiment of Merry Christmas, but what I love about this sentiment is it actually is all joined up. So you can just do one die cut and you've got your full sentiment, and I love that. Like, anything to make my life easier, I'm all about. And there's just some really cute elements. So you've got like the little reindeer, the bells, the holly, and then this really gorgeous like decorative corner element as well. Really nice one, that one. And there's 10 dies in that set. And then the embossing folder that you get is this really fun one. This one is Christmas tree pattern. Now again, I'm going to take out the packaging for you. So our 3D embossing folders are really fantastic for adding just a little bit of dimension to your makes. So if you've not used them before, again, I will show you guys how to use them, but they create a fantastic 3D element. So you just pop your piece of card inside, you sandwich it, and then roll it through your machine, and it gives your card that lovely pattern. So this one is a really fun Christmas tree design, as you can probably tell, and there's loads of different kind of designs of Christmas tree, and just perfect for the festive season. It's really nice for backgrounds, or I'm going to show you guys how to embellish some little fun elements on your card as well. That's just a really nice thing to have in your box. And actually, the 2 dies and the embossing folder together kind of make up the price of the box. I believe these are around £10 to £15 each, these 2 dies and the embossing folder. Obviously I'm working in pounds UK website, but roughly between £10 to £15, and the box retails for £28.99. So just those 3 pieces there, which are brand new, Chapter 3 2021, so you probably don't already have them in your collection, and that pretty much is the cost of your box. And then that means that everything else is kind of free, which is super nice. And there's loads still to go through. So like I did mention before, you've got those domes. So again, they're kind of free, which is nice. And then you also get some of our new, what's the word? Envelopes, cards and envelopes. So there are 10 envelopes and 10 cards, so obviously they're perfectly sized to fit inside one another. and this is in the fir tree, a mistletoe green. We do have a fir tree colour, but that's a slightly darker colour. This is like a really nice like olive green almost. I'm just going to get them out to show you. So as you can see, you've got a lovely sized card there. Fits perfectly inside your envelope, and it's just really handy if you are making Christmas cards. You know, everything's going to be the same size, the same colour. Don't have to worry about it, and you've got envelopes to send your Christmas cards on, which is just super, super handy. And the good thing about the colour of this, it actually matches the coloured cardstock in the box as well. So all part of our festive range, all part of our colour story, it all kind of matches and goes together, which is great. We can't do a box without some kind of sparkle or sequin or glitter or something like that. We've popped in 2 of our festive glitters. So you've got the red beads and some of the white snowflakes. These ones are really nice to pop inside of the shaker dome, particularly the snowflakes, to kind of make it look like falling snow. That's really, really cute. You also get one of our permanent adhesive rollers. This is so super handy for card making in particular. If you're layering sort of flat pieces on top of flat pieces of card, it's just super quick and easy, and you don't have to worry about glue or getting messy or anything like that. I love having one of these in my collection, and I go through them so quickly. So even if you've already got one, it's great to have a backup. And then moving on to cardstock, I'm going to show you the plain colours first. So we've got all of the colours in our festive range. Just trying to pan them out so you can get a good look at them. So like I said, they are all part of our festive coloured range, and it's our amazing textured cardstock. So it's slightly textured on one side and then smooth on the other, which is just really nice for die cutting. It gives a really nice texture to your die cuts, and the colours are just stunning. Really nice, sort of, you've got a mix of traditional festive colours, but also some pops of kind of more modern colours like your pink and this lovely teal colour here. So they're going to be perfect for your Christmas cards or your festive making. And then we've got some silver cards. So our opulent card comes in many different metallic shades. This is the silver, and you get 1 sheet of each texture. So you get our glitter, our matte, which is really nice, our brushed metal, our mirror cardstock, and our pearl. So these are really nice, I find, for like little accents. If you're wanting to cut your sentiment from something and make it really stand out, opulent cardstock is really, really handy for that as well. Okay, and last but not least, we have white cardstock. So we pop this in pretty much every single box, just 5 sheets of white cardstock. It just kind of sets you up, can't go wrong. You've got then everything that you need for your card making, whether you want to have a white card base or you've already got cards ready to go with the card and envelope set. There's pretty much everything you could ever want, other than maybe glue, but I'm sure you've got glue in your collection, or from previous craft box, because we often put our Sizzix Express glue in there as well. Okay, so that is everything that's in the box. Obviously, it is available on the Sizzix website, .co.uk or .com, depending on where in the world you are. And it is a fantastic deal. You get so much in this one. And like I said, if you're just itching to get crafting for Christmas, it is perfect. And I believe this one is close to selling out, so definitely head on over to the website and get your hands on it while you can. And give yourself a little treat before Christmas, because why not? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch cameras to my overhead camera, and we're going to get crafting, and I'm going to show you guys how to make a card. I'm actually going to show you guys how to make this gorgeous shaker dome card. So we've got like a night sky and the tree, and then we've got this embossed element here, and this is all using one of our cards from the card and envelope set that you get in the box as well. So I'm going to move the camera down to my overhead camera and we'll get crafting. Okay, so for this card, you're going to want to use the cards and envelopes that come in this set, just to make your life tons easier. It's already cut to size and it's already folded. So we're going to use this as our base. And then I've pre-cut a strip of the pink cardstock. This is pink fizz cardstock. And I've cut it to the same length of the card and roughly about 4 centimeters thick. You could do this thicker or smaller, depending on what kind of look you want. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this. So I'm going to move this card aside and I'm going to bring in my embossing folder. So this is the Christmas tree embossing folder that you get in the box, and I'm going to emboss that strip. Now you could just pop this in as the card is and emboss it, but a little tip if you are embossing is to use a spray bottle of water and just give it a really light spritz of water on the front and back, so without getting anything too wet. I'm just going to give it a quick spritz of water, just any kind of spray bottle that you've got. Ideally not on your work surface, but I just wanted to show you guys, and kind of let that soak in for a minute or so, and then we can pop it through the machine. Don't worry about any of these dark spots that you've got on your card, it'll completely dry, but then we're going to pop this into our embossing folder. I'm going to close it up and I'm going to bring in the machine. And for embossing folders, you want to use one of the plates, and then your base plate, you want to just use the grey one or the bottom one and take away the top one. Okay, so we're going to use the grey one. Hopefully you can see that. So we can use the grey one, then we pop our embossing folder in with the closed side going in first, so it doesn't, the open side doesn't sort of come open when you're popping it through the machine, and then you pop on one of the clear plates, okay? And then just run that through your machine. Okay, I'm just going to move the machine again and then show you guys how this kind of comes out. So hopefully you can see that. It's fully embossed, that piece of card. And we've got some really nice texture in there. And by spritzing that little bit of water, it just makes the paper just a little bit more malleable and easy to manipulate with that embossing folder, okay? So now we can bring back in our card, and I'm going to stick that on the front. So to do that, you can either use glue or you can use the adhesive roller in your box. Don't press too hard because you don't want to completely ruin the emboss, even though we are going to pop this through the machine, but it shouldn't go away completely. And then I'm going to stick it slightly to one side. If you find that once it's been popped through the machine, it's kind of, or been wet, it's kind of like gone over the edge a bit, don't worry about that, we can just trim it off. So that's on there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the snow globe die, so this one here, the snow dome die, and take the circle, and I'm actually going to cut into the card. Okay, so I want that ever so slightly. If you find that like you've stuck this down, not 100% sure where you want it, if you haven't pressed too hard, you can just move it, because I think I want mine slightly more to the edge. Yeah, I think that's where I want mine. Slightly more to the edge, and then I can see where I want that placed, okay? So bear in mind, if you're going to put this through the machine, you want to unfold it so you're only cutting on one side. And then I'm going to use some of our maker's tape, if I can locate mine. It's always the case, when as soon as you want something and you can't find it in your stash. If you don't have maker's tape, because I can't find mine, you could use like washi tape. This is some of our washi tape from one of the, I believe it was in the last box, actually, the last craft box. And I'm just going to use it to position my circle. But our maker's tape is what I would normally use. I just can't find it. So I roughly want it about there. I kind of want to make sure I have enough space on each side. So I'm going to take that down, and I want to leave a space down the bottom for my sentiment, okay? So I'm going to take that down, and then I'm going to run that through the machine, and I'll show you guys. So I just quickly bring back the machine, and obviously it's just a normal run through, so you just want your normal setup. And just pop it through your machine. It should cut through pretty easily, but if you've, I'm working with a foldaway, so it's got a touch more pressure. If you're working with a big shot or something, you might need to roll it through a couple of times just on the double layer. But as you can see, that came away really easily. And then we've got a space for our dome. It's flattened my emboss just a touch, but you can still see it, and it's just a nice subtle texture now, which is kind of what I wanted anyway, okay? So we can set that to one side. And then I can bring in my base ready to go underneath. So just bringing that back quickly, you can see that that is going to go underneath here. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just take a pencil and draw around where my dome is actually going to sit. Okay. So now I know I'm working roughly in this area. Now I've kind of pre-cut a lot of my stuff just to make life a little easier. And I can kind of build up my scene. So here I've got the little bit of snow and the Christmas tree element from the snow dome die. I did have a little brown piece, but honestly I have no idea where that's gone. Ah, there we go. These little tiny pieces always get away from me, guys. Like, I pre-cut them for these videos and then set them aside, and then I can't find them. There we go. Okay, so I've actually done the same with that pink piece of embossing strip that we popped on the front. I've done the same with the Christmas tree and just embossed that. So that gives you the same kind of fun effect. And I'm just going to start to kind of layer up and glue these elements down. So I'm going to start off with the snow that I cut from the white cardstock. I'm just using some of our express glue. Some of these bits you could stick down with the adhesive roller. But some of the more fiddly bits I just prefer to use glue. And this is why I've drawn out that circle, so I know where to put all of my elements, okay? I'm going to take some tweezers just to hold some of these little bits. And then attach my tree trunk. And then that can kind of sit on here. Before I do that, I think I'm going to pop on my decorations. So this is cut from the same die, and I'm going to just pop that in half, and then I'm going to create little like tinsel or bauble elements along here. Again, just little dabs of glue. And then I can trim off the excess. So I'm just going to turn it to the side, just make it a bit easier for me. And you could go to town with decorating your little scene. So you could do, like, in each individual bauble, there's definitely die cuts in the sets to do that. You could use the sequins as baubles on the tree. You could not include a tree at all if you preferred. You could, there's so many different things you could do, guys. And it's just kind of personal preference. And as well, like, I'm going to do a different kind of scene or setup in this one to the one that I showed you, just to give you an idea of the different things that you can do. So I'm not going to pop the little Santa in, but I'm going to do something else. So that just shows you. So I've got this one here, and I'm just going to trim off the excess. So just trim it off. Sorry for going out of shot at all, guys. Like, I'm trying to get it closer to my face because my eyesight is not the best. Okay, let's get rid of these bits. So we've got our tree, so that can go down there. I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on the back. You could even use the roller or even something like foam tape if you wanted it slightly raised. I was going to do it underneath the snow, but I think I'm going to have it slightly out of the snow. Okay, and then I've got some little presents that I've made as well, which are super cute. Just from the pink and the silver opulent. I don't know if I mentioned, but the star is using the glitter silver opulent. As you notice, I'm probably being a little bit messy as well, guys. I do apologise. I'm just trying to speed up the process ever so slightly so you don't have to sit through like ages of a tutorial. Okay, so now I've got some little dias cut out, and these are from the other die, the Christmas, I've forgotten the name, the Festive Elements die. So I'm going to have these as little kind of silhouettes in the night sky, and you could do as many or as few as these as you wanted. I just think this is a really cute little element, especially in the silver against the black, because they really look like they've kind of been lit up by the moon. So I'm going to pop one up here, and don't worry if it overlaps and goes outside of the circle. That's me. That doesn't really matter. Okay, there we go. So we've got our little scene. I'm now going to finish it off with just some of the sequins in the background. So I'm taking the snowflake sequins, and I'm knocking them everywhere apparently. And I'm just going to take a couple just with my curved tweezers and just kind of glue them onto the background, because I am going to add some sequins into the dome as well. And this is just going to add to the effect of falling snowflakes. And you could do as few or as many of these as you wanted. You could even put these down first if you wanted loads of them and then work over the top. That's absolutely fine. Ooh. That's why I use the tweezers, because they can get super fiddly. And then I think I'm going to pop on just a couple more. You could use the little ones as well in here. There's little kind of like dots that you could do, like little fine snowflakes. I just wanted the big ones on the background. I'm going to have one slightly off centre here as well. One more. I'll put one more because I think there's a space down there. This is my problem. I could go for ages and just keep adding bits. I kind of need to learn to stop. Okay, so I'm going to keep the sequins there because we are going to use them. So you just kind of want this to fully dry and fully set, and then we can bring in our dome. So we've got one of the 3.5 inch domes that come in the box. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprinkle a few sequins into the centre of this circle. I'm only going to use the snowflake ones just because I really want the effect of snow. And kind of see if you can get a mixture of the big ones and the small ones. The small ones tend to congregate down the bottom of the tub. So kind of wiggle down there and get a few of the small ones. Even if you have to kind of take them all out. There we go. I think the small ones kind of make a really nice effect in the shaker dome. And then I'm going to pop just a few bigger ones in there as well. And you want to make sure that they're kind of all in the center so that they don't get stuck when we go to stick the dome on, okay? So I'm just going to move these to one side. And you don't want tons of these because this is quite a large dome, so it means that it's quite slim. So you don't have tons of space for your sequins and beads, so don't overfill it. Just put in enough to create that sort of shaker effect. Then we can peel off that layer. So this is self-adhesive. And then we can use the outline that we drew earlier as a guideline and stick our dome over the top. Like so. Give it a firm press. Make sure all the corners and the edges are fairly stuck down. And then I'm going to slightly trim off this edge here. And then we can pop this into the center. So you can just use your roller. If you find some of the edges are a little bit thin, you can use your glue as well. Like one of my edges here is a little bit slim for me to get the roller on. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue over there and down here. Okay, and then we can bring in our card front and pick this up and pop this in the hole. Make sure it all lines up nicely. And make sure it's nice and secure. So we've got our gorgeous shaker dome scene. I'm just going to trim off this top bit where my pink bit overlapped. There we go. And then last but not least, I think it needs a sentiment. So I have already got a pre-cut sentiment. So again, from the Festive Elements die set, I've cut that Merry Christmas sentiment out of some of our brushed metal silver opulent cardstock. And I actually cut it out with some of our adhesive sheet on the back, just for time's sake really. And if you do have adhesive sheets already in your collection, they're a really good thing to pop on the back of your card and cut your more intricate die cuts with, and save you getting any glue anywhere really. It just really, really helps. It's a bit fiddly to peel off. But I'm just gonna peel that off. We'll get there. There we go. Yeah. So now that's all sticky on the back. I can turn that over and just place it where I want. The good thing about adhesive sheets is if you don't press too hard on your first go, you can kind of pick them up and move them around a little bit as well. Okay, so I think I'm going to push that back. This is what I love, I said at the beginning, I love about this die, is that it's all connected and it just makes my life so much easier to put a sentiment down. Can you imagine putting all these individual letters down? It'd be a bit of a nightmare. So I love that. So there you go guys, you have a gorgeous Christmas card. And now I've actually remembered that on my one that I showed you before, I actually trimmed off these edges, these swirly edges. So that's completely up to you whether you want to trim them off or not, or just keep them as they are. And like I said in the previous one, I'll just pop them down, pop my sequins down. I've got the little Santa there, and I've got the reindeers in the background there. So you can change it up each time, but the general idea is the same. We've got that embossed strip on there. We've got our night sky with our snow dome and those gorgeous snowflake sequins, and then our silver sentiment down at the bottom, all using that card and envelope set. So just to show you guys, it actually fits perfectly inside. So I just slot that in for you. There you go. And you can close that up even with the dome, and it fits perfectly inside. So there you go, guys. A gorgeous Christmas card, snow dome Christmas card, made using all of the products from our September craft box. Okay, I'm just going to bring you back up to the forward facing camera, and I'll say my goodbyes, and we're good to go. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed following along and making this gorgeous shaker card with me. Whether you sort of change up your elements inside there or you change up your colours, it's completely up to you. But I really hope you have a lot of fun making one of these shaker cards, and you can make a few of these because you have everything in your box that allows you to make a few of them and pop them in your envelopes and send them on ready for Christmas. So just to reiterate, guys, this box is available on our Sizzix website. I believe you can just click on the craft box section and it'll bring you straight to this. It is our September Christmas Dome craft box, and it retails in the UK for $28.99. I'm not 100% sure on the price in the US, but I believe it's around $34. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's roughly what it is. But it's just a fantastic deal. You get so much in this box, and if you do get your hands on it and you make anything, whether it is the card that I made today, or you've been inspired to make something else by this box or by any of the other videos, please leave a comment and a picture down below. I'd love to see it. We love seeing all your makes here at Sizzix. And use the hashtag MyMakingStory if you're posting it on Instagram or social media or anything. We'd love to see it, and we'd love to share your makes, and so we can all get crafting ready for Christmas, because like I said, it will be here before we know it. I know it. So yeah, that's everything from me today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed watching. I'll see you in the next one, but until then, stay safe and keep crafting. Thanks.